first candidate to answer this next question would be Ed Tursky. How do you assess the performance of Chuck Reiner, the superintendent of schools?
We did a little lottery out there on who to answer what questions, and I don't think I won that lottery. And I have some notes on various topics, and this is what I have on that topic. I know Chuck Reiner not well, but I know him. I've met with him. I've talked to him about school board issues. I think Chuck Reiner is a very creative, intelligent man. I think Chuck Reiner has vision that should be commended by all. I am concerned with the interview process as I see it ongoing. He has been intricately involved in the expansion with Parker High, as we've all talked about. I think that much of it was his vision. I'm not trying to take anything away from the board. They were involved. The central administration was, of course, involved. But I do think he was very, very helpful and instrumental in that. And I would certainly like to see his abilities fulfill that. And so I have to candidly say I am disappointed that he is interviewing elsewhere. Having said that, the show would still go on. The school would still open. The board is committed. I would be a committed board member to get the school open. And it wouldn't really matter if Mr. Reiner was the superintendent or not. All public schools are going. You know, we have a saying in my office. We've had one slot of an attorney that just seems to be a revolving door, and the new attorney shows up and it doesn't work out or whatever, and they leave. Well, you know what? The office was here before they came, and the office will be here after they leave. And I'm not trying to minimize Mr. Reiner's involvement at all. I think he's been very good, but all public schools have been through it. Thank you.
That's a loaded question.
I tried doing it first.
Hey, I was working on that. I can switch the numbers. Thanks for the tip on that one. I've been a manager, and I had to manage some fresh graduates from college who had a lot of ambition. They're great engineers. One of the things that I had to do was to be responsible for the direction that they took. And as a manager, if they took a wrong direction, I had to take responsibility for that. I cannot, and the same goes true for my children. When they take a wrong direction, if I have not given them any instruction to the contrary, I have to take responsibility for that. If we look at the management of the school board runs the schools. The school board is elected by you, which ultimately means you are in control of the schools. The superintendent reports to the board. I noticed that Chuck Reiner writes the agendas for these school board meetings. I noticed that he sits in the middle of the board. I noticed that he gives the closing comments. It's backwards. So what I'm saying is if I were to assess his management or his running of the schools, I can't. Because he has not been given direction. He's not been given guidelines by his boss. He's been given a free rein. And you know, they say that absolute power corrupts absolutely. I'm not trying to say that Chuck is corrupt, but I'm saying that a lot of people have been saying bad things about Chuck when we need to look a little bit at the source. He is responsible for personal decisions, but he has not been given direction and guidelines. As a member of the board, I would like to give him an opportunity by giving him guidelines and explaining what is he going to be assessed on. If he doesn't meet his assessment criteria, like me in my job, if I don't, I find a new job with a little help from my employer. So what we want to do is to come into the board to put some guidelines and explain what we expect of our superintendent so that he can be measured, so that he can be rated, so that we know how he is performing. We can take advantage of his vision and his education, but we can also curb some of the autonomous decisions that are made that have caused a lot of grief among the community, as we saw just this week. So anyway, thank you very much.
You know, I wish I could say, Chuck Reiner, you know, you're the root of all evils, and walk you out of town and bring someone else in. You know, there's probably a lot of blame to go all around. You know, Chuck is like a CEO. Superintendent could carry on different connotations, but he's basically the CEO of the organization, and he needs to run the day-to-day operation. The board of trustees, hey, you know, they need to step up to the plate too. I think everybody's guilty in this, but again, things have happened within the state from what they were several years ago to 10 years ago. So we need to adapt, we need to change. The school system is going to grow, school of choice, whatever, it's going to grow. We need to have this school, we need to get it open. And I think Chuck is the guy that needs to be the guy that does it. He's got approximately several more years on his contract, and he needs to be accountable for getting these schools open to grow them into the future. I think what has happened with Parker High School with the flex scheduling, that's a novel idea. With the freshmen, when the high school was overloaded, the freshmen were moved to the freshman campus. And if you look at the MEP scores, et cetera, that's a testimonial itself in the improvement in ninth grade scores and ninth grade level of learning. And you can say Chuck did this, Chuck's bad for that, but he's done a lot of good for the system too. Sure, everybody's got mistakes, but let's all work together. Let's get this job done. Let's get our kids educated so that they can take us into the future, so we can retire and have nice homes to live in. Okay?